Welcome back to the Tiger Sisters podcast, where we dig into money, power, and love.
Today's guest is a man that I trust with my own wallet. Ryan Edlefsen is my financial advisor.
And he's advised founders, families, and us through multiple recessions over 20 years. Today, we'll discuss strategies for different skill levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. I'm Cherie.
I'm Jean.
I'm Ryan.
And we're the Tiger Sisters. I'm Jean Liu, Harvard MBA, ex-Goldman Sachs, former head of product for AR shopping and monetization at Snapchat, and I have over 50 AI patents.
I'm Cherie Liu. I recently graduated from Stanford's business school back in June last year, and before that, I was a product manager at LinkedIn. I have experience working in tech and venture capital. Most recently, I started creating content, and I create educational videos that have over 100 million views on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
The ideas we discuss today are for informational purposes only. They are not tailored to your own personal situation, and they do not constitute legal, financial, or tax advice. So always do your own research before you actually make any investments and or consult a licensed advisor.
Money is such an emotional conversation. There's so much baggage that comes with it for each person, depending on how they grew up, where they grew up, and it really stays with you when you're an adult.
Yeah. One of the first questions I ask people in an initial meeting when they come to us is, tell me what you learned about money growing up. And that usually releases a lot of emotions. And
Do people cry?
We get plenty of crying.
Really?
Yeah. Not by design, but it's money is a lot to it.
It is.
And a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, like you said, a lot of baggage. And there's a lot of stress and relationships with people that are involved. So there's definitely some tears.
Yeah. I was saying to Ryan earlier, I was like, you're basically a therapist. In a lot of
Part-time
ways.
financial advisor, part-time therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
Not licensed.
And also, I don't know why, but it's because I think you have that sort of financial transparency with people. So then people feel like you're like, you already know everything about me. Like you've seen me like financially naked or like however to put it.
Yeah.
So then I just end up telling you everything. Like I tell him all about my dating life and stuff like that. I don't know why.
Ryan's like, I didn't ask.
It's not relevant at all.
Ryan's like, I didn't want to know and I
However
didn't
the conversation
ask.
flows. Yeah.
And you just spill everything.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we do is, not everybody does this, but if I'm going to ask all these personal questions about finances and everything, I feel like it's my own obligation to share what I do with my own finances and planning and savings and college accounts and everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's helps build a lot of connection with clients. This is a long-term relationship. Potentially we're talking to people for 30, 40, 50 years. I want to be transparent with them with what I do. And I tell people I will never recommend you do anything I haven't done myself.
Yeah. You've shown me spreadsheets of your own your own money management before. And that felt really genuine and transparent to me. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I trust you.
It's authentic to me, and it's I'm just telling my story, and not like I'm trying to pretend to be anybody else. So
Hey guys, quick break to let you know that we now have merch on sistersmatcha.com. We have sweatshirts and t-shirts that we designed ourselves. Go check it out. And please rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. These ratings are so important for the distribution and survival of Tiger Sisters podcast. Thank you for your support.
Okay, Ryan, let's start off with the beginner mode. So let's say investing in the stock market sounds terrifying to someone.
yes.
What is the first thing that they should do that is the 5-minute first step to get started?
I would probably start by looking at a few mutual funds or indexes, things that you could easily get into with small amounts of money that are very low cost, that you could put money into on a consistent basis.
How do you start, and then how do you kind of automate it?
One thing that we love clients to do is set up automatic monthly contributions, similar to how you pay a mortgage or your rent every month, just like you contribute to a 401k through work. Set that up automatically to whatever you're doing. Automated, generally people get used to it. In the beginning, it feels like a bill, and then it becomes a habit. Super quickly, you don't even think about it.
Super tactically, what should they be researching? What do you type into Google or what do you type into ChatGPT?
So I've gotten really into AI recently. So
Okay.
those.
Yeah.
And literally I'll just put in any question I can possibly think of. But the first thing that came to mind was, what should I start with investing in as a beginner? So usually we'll do things like the S&P 500 if
Okay.
people are familiar with that.
Okay. So an S&P index fund.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect place to start. You can do it on your own, negligible cost. You can start with 50, $100 a month, very beginner level. Generally, as people get used to it, get more comfortable, see things go up and down, it's a great place to start.
Nice.
And for people who are very beginners, what is the difference between a mutual fund and an index fund in the most basic terms?
Mutual fund is somebody managing it and buying and selling and making trades. An index fund, you simply have some stocks in an index and you do nothing, and it just stays and holds those stocks as is. So mutual fund is a little more cost. Somebody's making moves. Index, it just set it and forget it. I would usually go with indexes for
Okay.
most of our clients. We are using indexes, low cost. Typically, if you just do a little homework, ChatGPT, Google, hey, can I beat the market? Very, very seldomly does that happen over any extended period of time. So indexes, by far and large, usually the best place to go.
Great. What is the percentage split we should think about in terms of investing into index funds versus more crazy fun bets?
I don't know if I would say a percentage. I would probably say more of a dollar amount. Like, hey, how much
Oh.
money do you want in an account that you can play with? Pick your stocks. If it goes great, awesome. If it tanks and goes down a ton, you're not going to feel really bad and have to worry about it or tell somebody else.
So you're literally saying, like, think about it as a pool of play money.
Yeah.
It's like your enjoyment money only is what you're doing for
100%.
stock picking.
We literally talk about it. Hey, this is your play money.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Go with it. Go do what you want. If it does, awesome. Great. If it tanks, don't worry about it.
That's so funny because that's kind of the way I think about when I go to Vegas and I, bet a little bit of money. I'll just be like, okay, my threshold is I'm going to spend up to $300. And then
Big money, big money, big money.
How long does that last?
I mean, sometimes I'm winning money, so it lasts for a while. And I don't go to like the $100 tables.
Yeah.
I try to go to the $25 minimum
Yeah.
if they're available. So I'm like, okay, I will spend up to $300. If I lose it, then I won't play anymore.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, but like you're saying it in
Your
the
Vegas
same
play money.
way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it probably won't go to zero,
yeah.
but I would think of it as play money. I use that language with folks.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that it's not a percentage actually, and that it's more like a number because percentages can grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dollar amounts grow too.
Yeah.
Generally, we find that as clients, earn more, get older, incomes grow, they save more.
Yeah.
How they feel about different numbers grows. So,
Yeah.
for example, I usually ask, hey, how much do you want in emergency funds? In the beginning, people might say a certain amount, and then you talk to them a few years later, and that number usually grows.
Oh. How much should we have in an emergency fund?
I usually say 6 months of expenses is
Okay.
probably your average. If you want to be a little more risky, maybe 3 months.
Okay.
Some clients want to have a year. It's all personal, but usually 6 months is probably a good, nice
Okay,
round
so
number.
start with 6 months and
Yeah.
then plus or minus.
So you spend X per month, 6X is probably what you should keep in like a high yield savings account.
Okay. I'll have to go check to see if I have that right now.
We should have that.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, so speaking of automation earlier,
Yes.
if there's one thing that our viewers should automate, like right after watching the show, what is that one thing? What's the non-negotiable thing that you think they should automate?
If we're talking beginner,
Yeah.
401k up to the match.
Okay.
So generally you work somewhere, they give you a certain amount that they'll put in. If you put money in, no brainer, free money. Got to do that.
Okay. I'm really happy you said that because we did a personal finance episode where we just talked about things that we
401k.
know and we gave that advice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
aligned.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're validated.
Yes. And if
well,
you were
what
to
about
choose,
medium?
yeah,
What about
intermediate and
medium? Yeah.
advanced, are there other things people should automate?
Medium advanced, I would say a lot of people are at companies where they will have after-tax 401ks,
Oh.
which is basically you can max your 401k. Depending on your age, it's probably right around 23,000. If you're over 50, probably not a lot of your viewers, but that is 30,000 a year. And then you can actually add money to this thing called an after-tax 401k, where you can put away probably an extra 30 or 40,000 bucks a year. That grows tax-free. You take it out tax-free.
Oh.
A lot of people don't know that.
Is it just called an after-tax 401k?
401k.
There's
You
no
got it.
other name to it?
No. Well, some people will call it a Mega-Roth.
Oh, Mega
Mhm.
Roth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I do one more for beginners?
Yeah.
Please.
No-brainer these days is what's called a high-yield savings account or a
Uh-huh.
money market or CDs. Those are where you're guaranteed a certain rate of return. It can change over time a little bit, but ultimately, in a high-yield savings account where you would keep an emergency fund, you can get close to 4% on your money.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say somebody has, 10,000 in there. You're literally getting $400 a year of interest for doing nothing. $100,000, that's $4,000 a year of interest for doing nothing. So that's usually what, if I see somebody has a bunch in cash, first question I ask is how much interest are you getting? If they say negligible, it's in a checking account. Easy way for them to at least get some interest, zero risk.
And so you should automate like a deposit from your paycheck into that
Yeah.
every
Mhm.
month.
You could do that, totally.
Yeah. I actually saw something. This is not really beginner, but I saw something on Threads the other day
Okay.
that was saying like instead of using a high yield checking account, some people, depending on what state they live in, should be putting your money in a money market account instead, which is like a similar percentage right
Yeah,
now
same old world
and
concept.
doesn't get taxed in certain
Might have been thinking
states.
of like treasury bills.
Maybe.
Okay. Treasuries, you don't have like a state tax. So if you're living in California, a lot of our clients, I guess this will go to advanced.
Uh-huh.
A lot of clients in high tax states, New York, New Jersey, California, we use a lot of treasuries. So if you're earning a high income, high tax rate, high state tax,
Uh-huh.
treasuries can be really tax efficient.
Hmm.
Yes.
And you just buy that online, right?
Yeah,
Like tbills.com or something.
sure.
We'll
Where
find-
would you go if I have like a Fidelity account?
You can do it in Fidelity.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just
I mean,
look-
we do it directly for clients most of the time. But yeah, if you're doing it on your own, Vanguard, Fidelity, all those places are going to have it on
And I just look up treasuries.
there. Treasuries, yep.
Okay.
It's literally that easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never done that before. I've mainly been doing ETFs.
Yeah, you can do Treasury ETFs too.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Huh? Never heard of it before.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there one that people mainly talk about? Because I guess for like S&P ETFs, the ones I'm familiar with are like VO, VOO, like those, or like, yeah.
SP.
SPY. Those are stock
SPY.
funds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Treasury, it's going to be same concept. It's in like an index, but it's just something different. Like there will be bond indexes, international indexes,
Oh,
tons of them.
I hadn't thought about that. That's a good idea. That's a good way to get exposure to a bunch of different
Totally, yeah.
bonds and
Mhm.
treasuries.
Mm-hmm.
I only thought there were stock ETFs. I didn't
Yeah.
realize there were other.
There's bond indexes, all of
Yeah.
them, yeah.
Or mind blown.
Good. We've learned something here too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Ryan. So now let's move on to intermediate.
Okay.
Okay. Give us an exact number that you think a person can then move from working, like having to work, or work then becomes optional for them.
I guess it depends on how much you're spending, what you're earning, what your tax rate is, where you're going to be.
Yeah.
If I just had to do a guess, and I'll look at this when we're done, but I would probably say like 20x.
Mm.
Like if your income is $100,000 a year, actually it's probably like 30x. I'd probably say 30x. Like if you earning $100,000 a year, take 30 times your income, say about $3 million. I've never really thought about it that way. It's like,
Yeah.
but
Is it
if
a
I'm trying to
multiple?
simplify how much, because what if you're done at 30 or 60? You got to have your money last a lot longer.
Mm.
We'll usually hear about what's called like the 4% rule. Like if you have X amount saved, let's just say it's $1 million saved,
Uh-huh.
you can live off of 4% of that. So 40 grand a year. So that's probably more common. So if you had $5 million, you could live off of $200,000 a year. So I guess I would look at it more as how much do you want to live off of, and then relate that to how much money you should have in certain accounts.
Okay.
And
And
you
is
got to
that
account for taxes and all these other things too.
yeah. Is that 4% because that's kind of what you can reasonably expect that amount to like throw off in for you
One,
to
yeah, we call it
spend?
a safe withdrawal. It's a withdrawal rate. But yeah,
Okay.
4% historically is usually pretty darn safe. There's
Yeah.
a few different theories around that, but it's usually pretty safe, yes.
Okay. And then the idea is that whatever that amount is, the like $1 million, it'll just continue to earn money in perpetuity, and
That
you
would be the
like
plan. If done
continue to
properly,
take out the
yes.
4%.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
4% rule.
Yeah.
40K for $1 million?
Yeah, it's not as much as you thought. Huh?
No, it's
I know.
not.
You got to have a lot more.
Rent is really expensive here.
Yeah. A
Dang.
few $1 million. We need more money.
We won't be retiring after this episode.
Not anytime soon? Okay. We'll have to rework the plan.
Not right after this episode.
If you're watching this right now, please keep it on loop so that we'll keep earning AdSense and views off this video so that we may retire early.
Yeah.
So zooming back into strategy, is there like a stealth wealth strategy that women in their like 20s should implement?
I would say for anybody, the first thing that comes to mind is the percentage of income that you save.
Mm.
So that's able to be done at any income level. Generally, we'll say at least 15% of income should be saved. So take your gross income, multiply it by 15%. That is what you should be saving each year. If you're not there, we'll try to get clients to get there over time. It's obviously not going to happen overnight. And if you're there or higher, that's great. A lot of my clients that are maybe in their 40s or 50s or 60s, we try to actually work with them on, hey, how much should you be spending? A lot of my clients have done a really good job of saving, and it's tough to actually get them to spend their money.
Mm.
And so we talk a lot about, hey, how much do you want to leave to next generations and keep saving versus how much do you actually want to go and enjoy life? Because I don't think we can take it with us. So ultimately, hey, we need to have some more fun. So I would say at this point in my career, a lot of my conversations are actually getting clients to feel guilt-free to actually go spend the money that they've worked hard at saving for 20, 30, 40 years.
Oh, wait, that's so interesting. So
Yeah.
how do you think about that? How do you have those conversations?
Just honest conversations. Hey, here's what you can mathematically spend. You're not
Okay.
spending that.
Okay.
We are going to encourage you to spend more and go have more fun. It's not going to happen, again, overnight for a lot of folks. If there's anything I learned after doing this for 20 plus years, it's money carries a lot of emotion with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
A lot of people, speaking with a client last week at their home, grew up in India, very tough upbringing as far as finances.
Mm-hmm.
Were taught to, save every penny.
Mm-hmm.
And now at 60, she's got more than she could ever need. And I'm trying to encourage her to save. So I'm not going to
spend.
change 60. I'm sorry.
Encourage her to spend.
Encourage her
right?
to spend.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to change 60 years of habits. That's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of emotions and guilt and feelings around going and spending money.
Yeah.
Growing up, it was very much like a saving mindset.
Yeah.
And then in college, definitely I was on student loans and saving a lot of money. And finally, when I graduated and started making like real adult money, I had a really hard time spending it. One, because I was like, I didn't really budget that well, so I didn't know how much I could spend.
Yeah.
I was living below my means and I could have more money for fun, but I was just really stressed out and like really had to work through like, oh, I can do things to really enjoy this now like adult money that I have.
Mhm.
It was a mindset shift for sure.
Yeah. I read a book called Die with Zero. It's basically the whole concept. There's a lot to it, but the concept is you want to spend your money while you're here and not necessarily, when you're 85 and not able to enjoy certain things. So they do talk a lot about, hey, maybe you shouldn't save quite as much when you're younger. Enjoy things a little bit more. Your highest earning years are going to be ahead of you. Maybe you should actually go save more then. So it's just honest conversations with people.
And do you
again, it's a
agree with
journey.
that philosophy?
I think my father passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Before that, I was definitely a person that wanted to save every single penny.
Yeah.
And I think when that happened, I realized, hey, you know what? Maybe I should actually go enjoy things and not say, hey, I'm going to take the trip next year.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, here I am, right? So I think there's a balance.
Yeah.
But I think that spending and saving and that good mix and ratio, whatever it is for each person, is where we're trying to get with everybody. We're not trying to tell them exactly what to do. We're trying to ask them, hey, what are your goals? And trying to get them
Yeah.
to live those out and kind of hold up the mirror a little bit.
So maybe we should go to Kazunori
We should get sushi tonight. Yeah.
because we were talking about because we were gonna celebrate hitting like the milestone.
You
And we're
should.
like, should we go?
Yeah.
Should we not go? Okay, Ryan. One thing we say on Tiger Sisters is that
Yes.
we talk about money, power, and love.
Okay.
So moving to the sort of like love section of all of this, I know you're not a licensed love therapist, but you
Just on podcasts.
yeah. You're married, you have 3 kids, you have one on the way.
Yes.
What is kind of like one sort of like lesson that you have that's a through line from all of the experiences that you've had?
So my first thought is just to be open and honest with your partner about what you're doing. And I have plenty of people that I meet that basically keep things separate.
Their
Um,
finances.
yeah. And I think one thing that especially if somebody's meeting somebody later in life
Yeah.
where they've already developed their own financial habits and their own financial wealth, I would say, that's pretty common. And one thing I often encourage is maybe you have your account, they have their account, but maybe having a shared account. I usually find that the people that at least are open and communicate with it, it's a better long-term result than not knowing what each other is doing. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's not going to go well, but I've just found that in general, having some transparency, maybe a shared account, creates better outcomes.
What have you seen works well that like someone would be spending in a shared account, for example, versus like a personal account in that case?
Yeah, so a lot of people will say, hey, I want to buy a gift. Excuse me. I will see a lot of people want to buy a gift for somebody, their significant other, but they don't want them to know about it. So that might come from your personal account, right?
Okay.
But the shared account is probably where the bills come from, where the
Okay.
monthly investing comes from, where the whatever kids account, childcare, whatever comes from that account. So sometimes they'll have separate accounts for their own personal expenses, and then a shared account probably for the overall family expenses and savings.
Okay. And then do they have visibility into the respective personal accounts?
That's personal. I would say the personal account's probably not. When I'm talking to people, I usually will say something like, hey, how much is in the cash today? And they'll usually know what's in the joint account. They may not know exactly what's in the personal accounts, but they have an idea. They're in the ballpark.
Yeah.
It's not like one account, oh my God, they have that much. It's, okay, you're roughly around that number.
Okay. And you've seen that works well for people who
Yeah, I've seen it go pretty darn well, yeah.
meet later in life?
Yeah. A lot of clients meet 30s, 40s, and kind of have their own systems and plan in place, and they want to kind of maybe have that little independence. That usually can go okay.
So I'm 29 now, and so people who are around their age, do they usually do only a shared account, or what do you see for people who are like kind of new to this?
I've seen it all.
You've seen it all, or like what do you recommend? I don't know.
If I had to pick for somebody,
Yeah.
I would probably say having like I just described.
Okay.
Huh.
No matter what
each
stage
person-
you're in.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You have your own individual account and then have a shared account. I think that goes in general quite well for folks, yeah.
And do couples both contribute equally, 50-50 into the shared account, or is that just a conversation?
Not always. I mean, there might be one partner that earns more than the other or less. I think it's just having a conversation with each other and being transparent about, hey, how much am I earning? What am I saving? Because sometimes clients will say, I'm going to save a lot of my income. You don't save any of yours. We view that as spending money. Or we're going to save all of a lower income partner's earnings, and we're going to spend more of mine. So it's more just a conversation, I would say.
Yeah. I guess it goes back to your original point of transparency and then coming to a shared understanding of a system that works for both people and both people feel comfortable and like happy and satisfied with.
Yeah.
And then just continuing to like check in and like use that system.
I would agree. I mean, is it always going to be perfect? No. I'm more of a saver. My wife is more of a spender. And as long as we communicate about what typically should be spent and we're open and honest with it, it goes pretty darn well. It's not like it goes perfectly every time when I get a bill, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a follow-up question. Okay, Ryan, let's say I'm starting to date someone new right now. I'm dating a guy.
Is this a hypothetical?
Hypothetically speaking.
Did you ask for his 401k balance?
No, this is a related question, actually. At what point, like how many months, how many dates, like I don't know how to quantify it, should we start talking about like finances? That was a question. Clearly, I'm very uncomfortable with this topic, right? But I'm like curious. Like I don't know when. Like, do I ask them like how much money they have saved or how much money do they make? Like, I guess I've never really talked about that.
Based on your professional opinion.
My professional.
Like
No, I'm just kidding.
before we get engaged. Like this is obviously a topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like maybe
How early on?
So with my wife, I know I'm annoying and I had like a list, but I literally at the time I just Googled like the top 100 questions to ask somebody before you marry them. And a
Oh.
bunch of them were finances.
Was it
It's
awkward?
no.
Oh. Why am I so
Maybe
awkward?
a little bit.
I'm like so
I can be a
awkward.
little
Yeah.
as an interrogator, I guess sometimes. But I'm also some people are very uncomfortable talking about money. I am not.
Right.
I do this all the time and every day.
Oh,
So I
true.
come at from the perspective where I'm within 10 seconds, I'm asking somebody about what's in their bank account, how they feel about money. Have they ever lost money? What are their experiences investing?
Mm.
You know, like
I'm
that's
writing these down for my next date.
yeah.
I'm writing these questions
Yeah.
down.
So yeah, you should ask my wife. But she was probably like, "What the heck is this guy doing?" But no, I would say, however, it comes up naturally.
It just doesn't. I just avoid it.
We have to find some strategy.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline, I guess.
Or maybe I can role play.
Sure.
Right now, I'm like, how much money do you have in your bank account? I can't even say it seriously.
You know
That's-
what's true though? I tell clients all the time, blame me.
Oh.
I don't know how often they do it, but I have heard it goes pretty well to have me and say, "Hey, my finance, person said this.
Mm.
What do you think?"
Oh, wait, like what? He said that I must ask you by the third date.
No, not at all. I did not say this, Gene.
You said I could blame you.
You can blame me, but I would maybe say it this way.
Okay.
My finance guy recommended having 6 months of my expenses in a savings account.
Okay.
Have you ever heard about that? How do you feel about that?
Okay.
Have you ever heard about that?
How do you feel about that?
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I'm like, how
That's
do
horrible.
you
I can
feel
think of a better
about
one.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have 6 months in your finance?
In your savings account?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many months do you have saved?
There you go.
No, that's too direct for me, but
Okay.
I do like the idea of putting it on you. That works really well for me.
That's
You
good
can
with me
blame
too.
me. It's a straw man. I'm not even there. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like, Ryan Edlefsen, look him up.
Yeah. Google
said.
this guy.
Yeah. Google him. He's real. He said that.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. I think
But don't you think if you're in a strong relationship and it's going somewhere that you would be comfortable asking that? It might be uncomfortable, but don't you think that's an important question? Just
I-
overall talking about finances and saving and
I think it's really important. Like they say the person that you marry is probably the most important financial decision that you'll make because
Yeah.
your habits blend with their habits. I agree it's important. I've never been at that stage romantically to like have a serious conversation
Yeah.
like that with a partner. So I'm not quite there yet, but I guess it might be coming soon. Maybe. Yeah.
From your lips to God's ears.
From what?
Said from your lips to God's ears.
Okay. Manifesting.
Manifesting. Well, do you have an opinion on when this conversation should happen? Like at what stage of seriousness in your relationship?
do I have to put like a number of dates?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like by the 5th date.
Oh.
Is that too soon?
Maybe.
Oh, geez.
No, I'll try it.
I haven't even decided if I like someone by date 5.
Oh, okay. Well, after you know that you like them,
Okay.
how about that?
Yeah.
We won't quantify it.
Oh, okay. That's a good, okay.
After you know that you like them and you think this could be something serious,
That's a good
not
answer.
too far after that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I think so because after you like them and you think it could be serious, if you find that your financial habits are completely on polar opposites, then that's like it could be a breaking point
yeah.
or a deal breaker.
So even before that then.
It might be. It might not be. Like I have plenty of clients where one person is here and one's here. As long as it's open and communicated and it's not hidden, I find that it's okay sometimes.
Is most of the time the person that makes more in your clients, your instances, the man? If it's
You
a
might be
heterosexual
surprised.
relationship?
I was actually looking at this. I think 7 out of my top 10 clients are female.
Hmm.
And
Hell
I
yeah.
think there are a lot more of my clients who are female that earn more. And there are more and more of my clients that are stay-at-home dads.
Oh.
I'm not going to
That's-
say it's a majority,
Yeah.
but it is more and more.
I wonder if it's
Would you be comfortable with that?
That's a good question.
like earning more than my partner.
Yeah.
Okay, to be totally honest, yes, if they were equally as powerful and influential on another level.
Like they were confident and okay with it.
Sure, and if they were rich in some other sort of currency.
Like
What do you mean by that?
like driven,
Yeah, like
like a PhD scientist at NASA.
sure. Yeah.
Might meet somebody.
Does that make sense?
Or I guess
Yeah.
they're like a maestro in their own regard.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
it doesn't
That's
have
what
to
I'm
be a
saying.
high-paying
Yes.
job, but they have to be someone who's really good at their craft or
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
their craft is.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have to be excellent in some other way, like top of their field.
Yeah. What if that field was just a really good person who was a great stay-at-home dad?
Good question. Great question.
Again, there's no right or wrong in meetings.
She's embarrassed by her answer.
No, that's okay. But in meetings, I just ask a ton of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want anybody to do people do things for their reasons, not mine.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of the day, I just want to get people to a point where we're doing it for the right reasons.
Hmm.
I ask why a lot. And again, if it's not that it's shallow or not shallow, it's just that's important to you. That's okay.
Yeah.
I guess you have to think about it practically, because if you're making more of the money and not home, let's say, then your partner would have to be home or you would have help. So it just kind of depends on what you want.
Yeah.
But not everybody's comfortable with that too.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really thinking about
Sorry, I changed it to you. But
I wasn't thinking about that as like a potential avenue of excellence. I guess I was thinking like something else, I guess, in society, like broader society.
okay.
Yeah.
Griller. Get her. Get her, Ryan. Get her. Yeah. But it's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't have an answer for that now. Thank God you're not asking me. But I think it's a great point. It's a great question.
Well, a related question. So people talk about prenups a lot. So is asking for a prenup a smart financial move, or is it like a relationship killer?
I do not think it should be a relationship killer at all.
Okay.
It does not come up very often. Most of my clients,
Hmm.
when I've met them, are 30s or 40s.
Uh-huh.
So I would say it's not, they're probably not at the wealth where it's a super common theme, or they most often don't have, large inheritances coming down where they've got $100 million. We need to have these conversations. But I don't think it should be a deal killer at all. I don't think any open, honest, authentic conversation or question should be a deal killer with any relationship. As long as it comes from the heart and it's authentic and you say why it's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anybody said that to me, I would be listening and totally open to it.
At what level or how much money should someone have for them to like want a prenup? Or is that it's like reasonable to ask for one?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it comes down to a specific dollar amount. It may not be necessarily, hey, here's what I've got today. It might also be for somebody, hey, here's what I could see going forward, and that's important to me.
And a prenup is moving forward. It's not
A prenup could be existing assets. You could, I'm not a lawyer, but you could do future earnings and stuff like that too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, last question. I'm gonna grill myself.
Okay.
Last question on the love segment. So, Ryan, you've met my ex-fiance, and like we've all like talked together as a group and stuff, and you even sent us a very nice gift for our engagement.
Mhm.
What, if any, red flags did you see?
Not with you specifically, but sometimes you will see things.
Okay.
And I don't want anybody to feel, awkward or uncomfortable. I just try to ask questions in a way that makes them realize what they might maybe don't see.
Mm-hmm.
That sometimes it's easier, and people always, generally you can see things better from the outside, right? More objective. And
Yeah.
I'm sure people say the same thing about me with my team or employees or spouse or everybody, family. How long were you
Together?
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years. Yeah.
Was there some reason that it took 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that that's a bad thing, though.
I guess, or put another way, like you said, sometimes you see things or you ask questions that bring up things that they don't see
Yeah.
about themselves. Like, can you think of, was there an example with us that you thought like, oh, this is something, or even just for me, like that I can see very clearly as a third party that they have a blind spot to, or she has a blind spot around.
The truth is, Gene, I don't think there was any
Okay.
red flags. I mean,
Okay. So you're saying that's not why we broke up?
no, I don't think so. No. There was other stuff evidently, but no,
Yeah.
I don't think there was any financial red flags where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And if it was, I would have probably told you guys.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
said, hey, here's what I see. Here's what I've seen go well with folks. And
Yeah.
sometimes here's where I've seen difficulties.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, again, you're in one or the other, but I want you to be aware of here's what, often happens.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
I never told you, but I did say, Ryan Edlefsen said that we can't be together anymore. My financial
this
advisor.
out. Or I get hunted down.
Just kidding. That's a joke, guys.
It's a
That's
joke.
Nothing to do with finances. You can cut this out if you guys want to.
Yeah.
Did you guys tell everybody? You kind of kept it secret for a bit, right?
That we were engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back, sorry,
Yeah.
it just jogged my memory.
Yeah.
So that was probably, if you're asking for a red flag, that would have been it.
Yeah.
One of the greatest moments. Why would you hide that from people?
Yeah.
That
Wow,
was
I can't
probably-
believe we told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you knew before other people knew.
You would be surprised how much people tell me before telling even their closest family and friends.
I don't even remember telling you that.
Yeah. I joke with people that I probably will know you in 1 hour better than your closest friends
Wow.
because you ask a lot of important questions.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Wow, that's a good memory bank
Yeah.
pull. I didn't
that-
remember that at all.
Now that I think about it, again,
yeah.
keep as much or as little as you want of this, but
Yeah.
that stood out to me. Not at the time, but looking back now, that stood out now.
Yeah.
That I
I'm
think about.
realizing that's, yeah. Wait, who'd you tell first, Ryan or me?
You, Avi.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think she waited like a day or two to tell me too.
Yeah.
I was in Spain. The time zones are different.
Well, if we can keep going on this,
Okay.
you guys also planned it, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Does it strike you that most of the time engagements are a surprise, and that Jean basically planned her own engagement?
It does strike me that happened.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned it. I was like, it was a lame engagement.
She struck it.
Yeah. You're picking up all the
Yeah.
right threads.
Sorry.
No.
Good points. So moving on to deal or delusion lightning round.
Wait, that wasn't the delusion part?
Wow,
Now
he's spicy.
Now he's spicy.
Now Ryan's spicy.
Now Ryan's ready to be spicy. So see, we just have to warm him up with grilling me.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm loose.
Now he's loose. Okay.
Okay.
We have a segment, Ryan, called Deal or Delusion. So we'll be reading statements out to you, and we want to hear from you. You can say it's either a good deal, or it's completely delusional, and you can give a short response on why you think so.
Sure.
Ryan, deal or delusion? Prenup should be standard for anyone with 100,000 or more in net worth.
The delusion.
Oh.
I'd say for most people, it's probably delusional.
Deal
Yes.
or delusion? If you're not earning $1 million before you're 30, you're late.
Absolutely delusional. One thing I've learned is no matter what somebody earns, they're always going to want more, myself included, and I'm thinking you two included. It's more about being happy with whatever you're earning than it is trying to earn more. That extra dollar does not bring, in my experience, much more happiness. It's negligible the more you earn. So coming from somebody that's had nothing and had a rent eviction notice when I was 28 years old or whatever it was, to now earning a significant amount more. I look back at times when I was 25, 28, earning nothing and was able to live off of literally $2,000 a month. And I was as happy as I was, as could be. So I do not think earning a dollar amount makes anybody much happier.
Okay, Ryan, deal or delusion? Having kids is the worst financial decision that you can make.
I wouldn't say worst. It's definitely not the best. Coming from somebody that's about to have 4.
Okay.
One of my team members and I were talking about this on a call today with a client who basically had another kid, and they're like, man, kids are expensive. And one of my team members had a kid just 6 months ago, and I'm like, it's going to be expensive. He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, now I get it. Kids aren't cheap. There's just stuff to buy, things to do. Every place you take a kid is expensive. And again, I can go to the park and have a great experience with my kid, but yes, kids are not cheap. There's always something.
Thanks so much, Ryan, for chatting with us today.
Thank you for having me. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll include a one-pager that Ryan will provide us. It's like Personal Finance 101. It's a checklist. So if you want to check it out, it will be linked in the description of this video. And for all of you watching on YouTube, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe in this video. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd so appreciate it if you can give us a 5-star review.
Yes, and please share Tiger Sisters with your friends and family who would also enjoy our podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.